You've got questions, I've got answers. Alright, welcome back to another Q&A video. This first question comes from Lauren. Lauren writes, I am a consistent watcher of your show. Awesome, thank you very much. But have recently started to downsize my collection, and I've been selling off the weeds in my collection. I feel that sometimes our collections begin to weigh us down, and we can even lose our excitement for listening, as we can become overwhelmed by too much choice and even turned off to the hobby. Just wondering, what are your thoughts, considering we can literally listen to any music via Apple Music or YouTube? Rock on. All right, this is a good question, and that's why I'm putting it at the very top of this episode. I'm a firm believer that your collections, of whatever they may be, physical media, records, books, movies, your collection needs to work for you. It has to be at a size you're comfortable with, right? Big or small. Some people only want small collections. It's totally cool. Some people want a house full of records. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe there's something going on in your collection where you don't need them all. I'm a firm believer as well in doing a regular purge of my record collection and trimming the fat and keeping the collection lean-ish and mean-ish. I'm looking in my closet right now. Mean-ish, is that a word? I'm looking in my closet right now. I got like 3 boxes of records that I've pulled off my shelves, records I know probably not going to listen to again. And whenever I find the time to actually go through them and price them and whatnot, hopefully they'll go to a good home, and the money I make from selling those records, I will reinvest in other music. This happened to me recently with my books. I went to my bookshelf. I had so many books, and it was overflowing. This was stressing me out. So I took like 20 or 30 or 40 books I knew I was never going to read again, and I put them up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And it felt good just to purge my book collection. So yes, I'm a firm believer in the purge. Not the purge, like in the movie. Purging collections. I made some notes here. I said record collections can weigh us down in other ways as well, right? There's space. They take up a lot of space, take up a lot of room. Moving with records can be a pain. And maintaining records, right? All of this can definitely wear on some people, myself included sometimes. That's why I keep reminding myself that this should be fun. If I don't feel like cleaning records, I won't clean them. If I don't feel like sleeving records in a particular week, I won't sleeve them. Then nothing's going to happen to them if I don't sleeve a record for a few weeks. I'll get to it when I want to get to it. I used to catalog all my records, and at one point I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fun, cataloging all my records. So I've stopped. I think I'm better off for not doing it because, as I said, that was kind of dragging me down as a part of the hobby I didn't like. It's also okay, I think, to take a break occasionally from spinning records, even from listening to music, right? Yeah, sure, it can be overwhelming. Like, what record am I going to pull? I don't know. Streaming music can be equally, if not more overwhelming, though, because there you have access to pretty much every song ever recorded. When I don't know what I want to listen to, I'll just throw on like Sirius XM satellite and let someone else make the choices for me. So back to the whole point here, back to the original question. Yeah, I think it's, speaking for myself anyway, it's a good idea to sell off the weeds in the collection, right? Keep it lean and mean. I think it's completely normal to occasionally be overwhelmed with our collections or think it's not as much fun as it used to be. And in those cases, take a step back. Don't listen to music for a week, a month, a year. Doesn't matter. Your collection is still going to be there. Just remember, this whole thing of collecting music is supposed to be fun. All right, this next question comes from Oliver. Oliver writes, just a potential topic for one of your shows, digital downloads with new LPs. For a while, almost all new vinyl came with a digital download. Now I would say it's less than a quarter, mostly available on indie releases. Personally, I like to have a digital copy to listen to at work or in the car. You know, I never thought about this until I saw this question, but it is totally true. At least on the major label releases, we are seeing fewer digital download codes, right? They used to be come in most albums. Now they don't. I say they rarely do. I would say I rarely see those digital download codes now. It's not even just in record collecting, right? Like movies used to come with those digital download codes. I rarely see those anymore. But you know what I really miss? I miss the days when records would come with a compact disc inside as well. I love that, man. I loved having, at the time, I would listen to the disc in my vehicle and the record at home. Now my new car doesn't even have a CD player, so it is what it is. And I think I can kind of see why record labels have largely stopped with the download codes. I think most people have just moved away from downloading music with the streaming services, right? Spotify, Tidal, whatever. And yeah, okay, the digital download would probably sound better than Spotify, but I'm not sure if the average consumer really cares. All right, this comes from C. Miller. Love it when Sherry picks out albums for you to discuss. Could we do that once in a while? We love your channel and its content. You are amazing. Awesome. Thank you very much. My husband Dave has a renewed interest in vinyl because of channels like yours. Let's go find Sherry right now and see if she would want to be in a future episode again. All right, she's upstairs. She's probably not going to be happy with me, but let's go. We're going upstairs, and I think she's taking a bath. Sherry, doing a Q&A video, and a viewer wanted to know, can I open the door?
What?
Can I open the door?
Videoing?
I'm videoing, yeah. You're in the bathtub?
Are you okay?
Yeah. Anyway, a viewer wants to know if you'll come on the channel someday again and do a video where you pick out the albums and we talk about them.
I'd love to.
She would love to. All right. All right, get back to your bath. We won't bug you anymore. There we go. So, yes, Sherry will come on the channel and maybe give me a couple weeks and we'll see what we can do. That was fun. I thought she'd be mad that I was interrupting her bath with the video camera, which is a good sport. So that's awesome. Okay, this next question comes from Moto Jake. What happened to your personalized cork mats? That is a good question. I used to sell channel 33 RPM cork mats. They're awesome, if I do say so myself. Now I'm going to say if you have one of those mats, they are a collector's edition. Perhaps, because I don't sell them anymore. Unfortunately, I lost contact with the person who made those mats for me and shipped them out. I'm not really sure what happened there. I have no ill will to this person. As I said, the product was awesome. I think he just had things going on in his life. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I wish him well, and hopefully at one point I will get back into selling turntable mats and maybe other branded turntable accessories. I think that would be cool and fun. All right, this message comes from, or this question comes from Mike. He writes, how many copies of Black Sabbath's first album or Master of Reality do you have? I will look in a second, but this is an interesting question because in a recent video I said I don't collect variants of records. Then another viewer pointed out to me that, in fact, I do because I have multiple copies of certain albums. So, touche, that is correct. When I say I don't collect variants, I mean I don't collect modern variants, right? Like I don't get a new release in multiple colors, like a green copy and a red copy and a purple copy, whatever. Just a black, generally regular black vinyl kind of guy. But I do collect various pressings, right? Like from various countries, various decades, that kind of stuff. Anyway, Mike asked about Black Sabbath's first album and Master of Reality. Let me check. So let's do the Black Sabbath debut first. This one is a modern reissue. 180 gram vinyl. This is a still sealed one from the 80s. I got this one. What is this one? All right, there's the label. This appears to be a US pressing. Then I have this one. This is a British pressing of it. This came, I don't think the North American versions came with gatefolds. I think it was the UK and maybe some other ones that came with the gatefolds. This is not an original pressing or anything like that. It comes in the NEMS label, as you can see. And finally, I got this Russian version. This might have actually been a compilation of a couple early Black Sabbath records. The writing is hard to read back here. It's in Russian and in English, but the font is pretty terrible. And in terms of Master of Reality, I got a few of them. That is an early Canadian pressing with the embossed cover. What is this? That's a later Canadian pressing, late 70s, early 80s. And this one is, there you go, on that label, another earlier Canadian pressing with the embossed cover. All right, this question comes from Robert. Could you state 3 albums that you heard in your teenage years or 20s that you loved at the time but would not necessarily play nowadays, either due to familiarity, I'm tongue-tied, either due to being too familiar with it or the sound, or that the sound was fine for the time, but the sound has not endured over the years. Okay. Judas Priest Turbo, that came out in 86. I was 13 years old. I loved that album at the time. Now I listen to it, and it's not so much the production per se, but probably more the lyrical content that I can't relate to much at all. Songs about parental guidance and rocking all over the world. I don't know. Led Zeppelin 2, it's a classic record and still holds up, but I listened to that record way too many times in my 20s. And classic rock radio as well in many ways ruined that album for me. And for the third one, I'll just general categories. Some of the hair metal I used to love from the mid to late 80s, I have a hard time listening to now, mostly due to the production, like the drums, the snare drum just sounds so thin and sharp. And those albums are just so drenched in reverb, like the early Cinderella albums, for example, that I have a hard time listening to some of those nowadays. Not saying I wouldn't, I probably would, but they just don't hold that same cachet now to me as they did when I was a teenager. Dean Cronin writes, if you could invite one Canadian band to party with you in your music room, whom would you choose, and why is it Max Webster? I don't think it'd be Max Webster, though maybe that would be fun. But I actually thought about this, and the band I would invite over would be the surviving members of Rush, believe it or not. I'm not the biggest Rush fan in the world, but I really liked Geddy Lee's autobiography, which was called My Effin' Life, and he seems like he'd be a fun guy to hang out with. I've been watching some of those recent shows that Geddy has produced, including that one, Our Bass Players People Too, where he goes around and interviews famous bass players. It seems like a cool guy. I didn't realize how much Geddy, at least back in the day, liked to party. And same with Alex Lifeson as well. That'd be fun to hang out with. Alex seems awesome, and I love that cameo he did on Trailer Park Boys. If you haven't seen that, you got to check it out. As a matter of fact, Geddy, it'd be cool to have Geddy and Alex, and they may as well bring the Trailer Park Boys with them as well. Imagine that. That'll be a fun night. And Professor Echo Media wrote, question for a future video. You're stranded on a deserted island, but can choose between every movie ever made to watch at will or every record ever made to listen to forever. Which do you choose, movies or music? Dun, 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 dun. This is a hard one because I'm obviously a huge music fan, but I'm also a huge movie guy. And probably to the chagrin of some of you, I would probably choose movies. I'd probably choose movies, just because if I was on an island, particularly by myself, at least I could see other human beings maybe in the movies. And if I ever wanted to hear music, I could put on a concert film, right? Does that count? Does that count? Let me know. All right, 33ers, how would you have answered the questions in today's video? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to support this channel, check out the Channel 33 RPM store. Thank you for watching. I'll be back again really soon. Till then, keep on spinning.